In this video, I would like to introduce our CGIR paper, The Impact of Share Pledging Purposes on Firm Performance and Innovation. Share pledging is a widely used financing tool for controlling shareholders to pledge a portion of their shares as collateral to secure loans from the lenders. Share pledging is a convenient way of borrowing money. However, it is also risky. If the stock price drops below some threshold, the controlling shareholders need to pledge more shares, otherwise the margin call will be triggered and the financial situation will sell the stocks. In recent years, share pledging has emerged as a significant concern for regulators and investors because of the role that it has played in corporate scandals and in triggering sharp downward share price spirals. Some countries have consequently imposed strict regulation on share pledging activities. Nevertheless, advocates of share pledging have argued that the practice can enable firms that find it difficult to access external financing to receive funds. So the controversial perception of share pledging has, however, been taking place without the distinction between different purposes of share pledging. This paper thus categorizes the purposes for share pledging into two types: individual pledging and business pledging. Individual pledging is for individual purposes, in which the controlling shareholders spend funds from pledging for personal wealth. They monetize the equity for personal use without diminishing their voting rights. According to agency theory, the divergence between cash flow rights and control rights may cause controlling shareholders to expropriate minority shareholders and tunnel resources from firms for their own benefits. Business pledging is for business purposes, in which controlling shareholders transfer funds from pledging to the underlying firms. Injecting funding back into the underlying firms aligns controlling shareholders' interests more closely to those of minority shareholders, and creates the incentive for controlling shareholders to prop up the firm using their own resources. So far, there's little evidence on whether and how different share pledging purposes could result in heterogeneous economic consequences. We address this interesting research question by investigating the impact of share pledging purposes on firm performance and innovative outputs. Summarizing our results, we find that business pledging firms exhibit a higher increase in Tobin skew and more patent outputs than individual pledging firms, and the result is only significant for non-state-owned enterprises, which have relatively limited access to traditional bank loans. Our paper brings new evidence to the second type of agency problem, the principal-principal problem, which occurs when controlling shareholders act opportunistically against non-controlling shareholders. Specifically, controlling shareholders at business pledging firms increase their cash flow rights after lending money to the underlying firms and thus have higher incentives to prop up the firms. In contrast, pledgers at individual pledging firms decrease their cash flow rights and are more likely to expropriate non-controlling shareholders. This study also has important practical implications. This paper sheds light on the recent policy debate regarding the costs and benefits of share pledging and has implications for regulators and investors. Thus, it may be vital for publicly listed firms to deliver informative disclosure of the purposes of share pledging. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you have any comments or suggestions, please be free to contact me. Thank you.